In every serious criminal code, the first rule is always the same. You do not let the outside world into your conversation. Not through informants, not through surveillance, not through walls. Mercedes-Benz, apparently, agreed with this completely. In 1991, after a development program estimated at over $1 billion, they introduced the W140 S-Class, and buried inside it was a technology that had never appeared in any production car before: double-pane acoustic glass. Not one layer of glass, two, with a hermetically sealed air gap between them. The outside world, its noise, its surveillance, its interest in you, stopped at the glass. At highway speed, the W140 cabin registers approximately 62 decibels. A normal human conversation sits at 65. The car is quieter than the people talking inside it. In Eastern Europe, it earned the nickname the Whale, because sitting in one felt like the biblical Jonah traveling in the belly of the whale. It was that quiet. Toyota reached the same destination from the opposite direction. The Century's interior is lined with Nishijin-ori wool, hand-woven fabric from Kyoto's most prestigious textile district, with roots stretching back to the Heian imperial court, a fabric historically reserved for emperors. Toyota didn't choose it for tradition. They chose it because wool absorbs mid-frequency sound, specifically the frequency band of the human voice, better than any synthetic material ever produced. The German method: engineer the noise out. The Japanese method: absorb it into 1,000 years of imperial silence. In every criminal hierarchy, there is one rank that gets no credit, earns no title, appears on no document. They don't speak at meetings, they don't feature in the hierarchy, but nothing moves without them. The 6-liter V12 in the Mercedes W140, the 5-liter V12 in the Toyota Century. These are the soldiers. Neither engine was designed for speed. The M120, 6 liters, 12 cylinders, firing in a sequence so precisely balanced it registers on instruments as a flat line, was tested by Mercedes engineers for thousands of hours before a single unit reached production. Not for performance, for silence. The Century's V12 told the same story. 5 liters, 12 cylinders. Official output, 276 horsepower. In an era where that displacement could have produced 400, Toyota deliberately held back, because power peaks create vibration. Vibration creates sound. Sound draws attention. And in certain professions, attention isn't an inconvenience, it's a death sentence. In Yakuza hierarchy, and in any organization built on unspoken rank, the emblem communicates everything the man never says out loud: his position, his access, his untouchability. The Century does not carry Toyota's oval logo. Instead, it carries a phoenix, the Ho-Oh, a symbol pulled from over 1,000 years of Asian imperial mythology, a symbol historically reserved for the imperial house of Japan. That emblem, that specific badge on the hood of every Century, is hand-engraved by a single master craftsman. And it takes 6 weeks for a single one to be completed. And the paint? Only 4 specially trained craftsmen and 2 apprentices are permitted to apply the Century's 7-layer paint. Those craftsmen train for 6 months in traditional Japanese lacquerware technique before they are allowed to touch the car. 4 hands, 6 months of training, 7 layers of paint, 45 days for the badge. This is not painting a car. It's a ritual of initiation. The Germans cared less about tradition and finesse, and more about toughness. The W140's chassis was described internally at Mercedes as overbuilt. The suspension geometry was designed to absorb weight far beyond any factory configuration. Nobody at Stuttgart stated this publicly, but armored vehicle specialists across Europe read the specification and understood immediately. The car was engineered for what it might need to carry. When the Russian oligarchs started ordering armored variants in the early 1990s, the chassis didn't need to be redesigned. It was already there. Inside both vehicles, and this is where the architecture becomes genuinely remarkable, specialized third-party operators installed rear compartment communication systems that, in certain configurations, rivaled early military field equipment. When the Soviet Union dissolved on December 25, 1991, the same year the W140 rolled out of Stuttgart, a power vacuum opened that swallowed entire economies overnight. The Wory w Zakonie, Thieves in Law, moved into it, and the W140 moved with them. Not because they read a magazine review, because the W140 communicated something no domestically produced Russian vehicle could, that whoever sat in the back operated under a completely different set of rules. In Japan, the Century's relationship with the Yakuza went beyond preference and became protocol. Model year, trim, color, black, always black. Each variable communicating rank with the precision of military insignia. The Kumicho, the supreme organizational head, arrived in a specific configuration. Arriving in anything else was a statement. And in organizations where silence is the highest form of communication, making the wrong statement is the last thing you do. Omerta was never just a criminal code. It was an engineering philosophy. You build silence into everything. Your words, your movements, your symbols, your vehicles, your borders. You make the architecture impossible to read from the outside, and you trust the steel to protect what happens inside. The Mercedes W140 and the Toyota Century were not chosen because they were expensive. They were chosen because their engineers, without knowing it, without ever meeting each other, built Omerta into the metal. Drop a comment on your own risk. W140 or Century? Which car would you trust your life to? Snitch about this to someone who still thinks these are just vehicles. And be sure to subscribe, because if you don't, a black car might park outside your house on a rainy night, and it won't be your pizza delivery.